These are the Hickory Hound's news and views.
The dirt is moving. The dirt is moving across Hickory. Rooftops are going up fast in tight city lots, outskirts, and spaces that sat empty for years. At first glance, it looks like growth, but I'm asking, what exactly are we building, and who's it really for? These homes aren't rising because wages jumped or our young people are moving back. I haven't seen any plan pointing to major population growth. This feels like speculation. The lots are small. The homes look the same. Build times are fast. I can't help but wonder, can our infrastructure even handle this? What about water lines, sewer, roads, power? These look like playbook developments. Smaller yards, tighter spacing, and faster flips. Not neighborhoods, units. And there's this assumption people are coming. But from where? For what? We've grown less than 1% a year every year since 2000. I'm not against growth, not at all. I'm just asking questions. Why so dense? Why so rushed? Are these homes quality? Will they hold up 10 years from now? Who's benefiting? Are these local jobs, local builders, local agents? Or are we watching someone extract value from our land? We've seen it before. Fast builds that age poorly. Costs pushed onto the public later. Growth is good, but only if it's grounded in something real. So I'm watching, and I hope others are too. The dirt's moving, the houses are coming, but the question remains, what are we building and why?
This is Rachel AI for the Hickory Hound as we look at information you probably haven't heard anywhere else. Information that's ahead of the curve. That kind of information creates value. What I'm reporting here isn't headlines. These are issues we will deal with long after the headlines are forgotten. You might not even notice these things, but they impact your day-to-day life. On October 17, 2023, the City of Hickory approved a $1.325 million settlement related to the February 18, 2022 collapse of the wooden arches installed over the City Walk pedestrian bridge on Highway 127. The arches, installed in 2021 at a cost of $752,743.66, were part of the larger $14.7 million City Walk project. The lawsuit, settled with no admission of liability, involved Neil Grading, Dane Construction, Western Wood Structures, WSP USA, and engineer Paul Gillum. Designed to withstand 100-mile-per-hour winds, the arches fell in gusts of 30 to 35 mile per hour after early signs of splintering and installation flaws. While no injuries occurred, the public safety implications and fiscal mismanagement remain serious concerns. The deeper issue? Accountability. The city received its payout, but offered no independent investigation into the failure, no public explanation of oversight breakdowns, and no detailed plan to prevent similar risks in future infrastructure projects. This wasn't a minor setback. It was a public failure on a taxpayer-funded project, met with quiet settlements and no structural changes to process. The settlement closed the case financially, but it left the public with unanswered questions about standards, approvals, and design review practices going forward. Until that gap is addressed, confidence in the city's infrastructure decisions remains unstable. Meanwhile, the Catawba County Humane Society remains under investigation for alleged misconduct. With no updates from leadership, a vacuum of trust is forming in one of the region's most visible nonprofits. On the economic front, Whataburger's quiet entry into Hickory raises questions, not just about jobs, but about the erosion of local food identity in favor of national chains. Is this growth or gentrification? Then there's the FEMA trailer delay, bureaucratic silence with real consequences. Months after Hurricane Helene, families remain displaced while aid sits idle. You can follow the link in the printed story. None of these stories are glamorous. Most of it I don't care to talk about, but these stories speak to the overall vibe of the community. They are issues that need attention as we move into the future. That's why the Hound is watching, because real accountability doesn't start at the top. It starts at ground level. Now on to the early signal report. This tracks emerging trends and subtle shifts across the Foothills Corridor, real developments before they hit the headlines. It's where tomorrow's stories first come into focus. Tracking what's quietly moving in the Foothills Corridor. While headline news remains distracted by surface-level noise, The real signals shaping our region are forming beneath it. The latest early signal report highlights 5 emerging trends across Hickory, Morganton, Lenoir, and Marion that point to deeper cultural, economic, and environmental movement. 1. Micro-retail and pop-up growth. Pop-up markets and micro-retail storefronts are on the rise, especially in Union Square and Main Street districts. These low-risk models are filling gaps in vacant retail space and giving local entrepreneurs a new way to engage foot traffic. 2. Apprenticeship expansion. Major employers like CommScope and Carolinas Healthcare are rolling out new apprenticeships across manufacturing and healthcare. These learn-while-you-earn roles are targeting young workers and career changers, tied directly to the region's automation risks. 3. Home gardening networks. Seed sharing, backyard gardening, and produce bartering are picking up momentum, fueled by economic uncertainty and food system distrust after Hurricane Helene. 4. Wellness micro-businesses. Outdoor yoga classes, elderberry syrup vendors, and grassroots fitness events are spreading. This signals a health-conscious shift rooted in affordability, post-pandemic habits, and local self-reliance. 5. Environmental cleanup efforts. Volunteer groups in Burke and McDowell counties are organizing cleanups of trails, rivers, and flood-prone areas. These are community-led, low-cost responses to long-term damage and shifting environmental awareness. These aren't headline-ready stories yet, but they're real, they're rooted, and they're worth watching.
Last week, I created and implemented the Hound Signal Substack page. I can't change the perception of what the Hickory Hound is. You can't take the Hickory out of the Hickory Hound, and I wouldn't want to. The name carries a certain meaning to the people who have been visiting here for the past 17 years. The Hound was born out of frustration, but it endures because it's rooted in truth. The Hound Signal is a new dimension to the overall mission. It carries the same message, the same mindset, but it steps outside of the local footprint to speak to a broader audience. It's about how everything we faced here, economic decline, institutional failure, cultural erosion, connects to what's happening across the state, the region, and the country. We're scaling the mindset, not changing the mission. The issues I've faced in growing the platform relates to people's comfort zones. Older folks are used to the old forms of media, newspapers they can hold, TVs with remotes, radios with dials. They don't want to give that up. The generations behind me, they're hooked on their phones. For many, the phone is their computer. But that device limits how deeply they can engage, especially with iPhone's app-specific constraints. Depth gets sacrificed for convenience. What am I saying? The public has limited attention spans. They want it simple, quick, entertaining. If it doesn't land in a soundbite, then they swipe past. That's the noise. Now, I need to get those people's attention sometimes, but they're not the difference makers. We're after the ones who care, the ones who are engaged in the world around them, the ones whose pineal gland still works. They see the big picture. They're not locked into Normieville. They are the builders, the connectors, the can-doers, and that's who the Hickory Hound Signal is for. The Hickory Hound is my journal of the land where I was born and raised. The Hound Signal is where we break free. It's about growth. Same voice, same foundation, wider field. If you followed the Hound, you'll feel the signal. That's all for this week. We'll see you soon. If you've got feedback, questions, or want to engage with the work directly, you can contact me at hickoryhoundfeedback@gmail.com. Let's keep pushing the signal forward.